Hi, my name is Eric, and I'm creating a business called My Farm Incorporated, and we aim to be the leading rice producer in the Philippines. One very important question I asked myself when I started this project is, why rice? Why not corn? Why not any other fruits or vegetables? Why does it have to be rice? And the answer is very simple. It's rice because every Filipino eats rice. Rice is a very important factor in our daily meal. It's almost comparable to water, where you cannot eat a meal without drinking water after. So rice for us is like a basic need. We need to have rice in our meal, and being as a basic need, then the question of demand sustainability isn't a question anymore. Somebody will have to buy, or will buy my product because it's a basic need. Now, another thing is, another reason why rice is there's a substantial shortage in production compared to consumption in my country. As of 2013, the Philippines is the fifth biggest importer of rice in the world, and that just goes to show how serious the shortage in production is. And we rely heavily on imported rice to meet the supply shortage, and imported rice are expensive because you need to pay freight, you need to pay taxes on getting them into the country. Plus, getting them into the country is only the first problem solved. You need to be able to distribute the products to all locations. Now, bear in mind, the Philippines is made up of 7,107 islands. Like right here, this is the Philippine map, and as you can see, it's all made up of different islands. Now, we have two ports of shipping where imported products are being brought into the country. We have Manila and Davao. Manila in the northern part and Davao in the southern. And getting imported rice to these ports is only half of the problem solved. You need to be able to make sure it's being distributed to all the islands. Make sure all the islands have enough supply of rice. Otherwise, you'll get hungry people and very desperate people, and that is just not good. And here is the table where I mentioned earlier that Philippines is the fifth biggest importer of rice. We got Indonesia on the fourth, Iran the third, Nigeria on second, and China as the leading importer of rice. And that's not very surprising, because China has a very large population. This is the graph of the Philippine population. Now, it has been growing steadily over the years. We have an average increase of 2% every year, which just means that if the population keeps on growing, there are more mouths to feed. The demand just keeps on growing, whereas the supply is not being addressed other than bringing in import rice. And my company is aiming to change all that. Product features: my rice would be cheaper compared to imported brands. Why is it cheaper? Because it's grown locally. We don't have to pay freight, we don't have to pay tax to bring them in. That's why it's cheaper. And we also have farms in major islands. Our farm will not be located in a single island. We'll do it in different islands, providing steady supply in key regions. And it also lowers our distribution costs, which pretty much it makes pretty good sense, putting it in different islands, scattering them all over the country. that means we will have a wider distribution channel as well. And another important product feature we have is it's a local product. It promotes local employment. Now the government, the Philippine government has been aware of the rice shortage for quite some time now, and they have been encouraging local farmers to produce. What they're doing is they're giving tax exemptions to local producers, and my company will take a full advantage of that, thus bringing our costs down as well. And another product feature is it's fresh from harvest. If it's we don't have to cross the sea just to get the food into the plate. It's just in the nearby island, probably your neighbor, where the rice is being produced. And target customers, we got 4 target customers. We got the lower and middle class. We got traders and food manufacturers. Now the first 2 are end consumers, and the last 2 being traders and manufacturers would be like a distribution channel for me. We start with the lower class. It's lower class of 4 families. This makes up 30% of the entire Philippine population. These are the people whose main priority in their budget is food, and these are the people who cannot afford to bring food in their plate if the prices goes up substantially. So if the prices goes up, what they do is they have to skip a meal, just because they cannot afford it. The second would be the middle class families. This is the 60% of the Philippine population will be in the middle class families, and these are people who eat 3 meals a day, and of course rice would be in it on those 3 meals, and that's a very big chunk of the demand as well. So they are a very important customer. The next would be the traders and wholesalers. These are the people who buys in bulk to get better prices, to get volume discounts. Now this would be one of my key customers, the traders. That is because they already have an existing distribution network, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna buy my product because mine is cheaper than imported products. So if my product is cheaper, then more people will buy it. That just means there's a quicker inventory turnover for the traders. Now bear in mind this, the traders and wholesalers work in a margin. So the more supply they sell, the more profits they're gonna make. So they would prefer a fast moving inventory, which is my product that is cheap. Another potential customer I'm looking at are food manufacturers. These are big companies that prefer supply agreements with producers. I'm not looking at them seriously for now, but they are good to have, because if you got a supply agreement, then that is just your sales taken care of. Okay, costing. It would be a 6-month cycle. Growing rice is a 6-month cycle. Got 2 harvests in a year. Total production costs, including plant labor, fertilizer, delivery costs, milling costs, harvest costs, and other incidental costs, would be roughly around $10,000 per 10 hectares of land. The net income would be 30% of total production costs. Now where did I get 30%? That is based on historical data from farmers in my place, but most of them are saying you can easily get 40 to 50% profit, but that is on a very good year of harvest. That is not considering that there may be droughts or tropical storms. So I think 30% is a pretty safe assumption. Now, if you got 30% net income of the total production cost, that is $3,000 every harvest, or $6,000 every year. And my first year of operation is for 100 hectares. That is equivalent to an estimated $60,000 net income in the first year, and that's pretty good business if you ask me. And I'm sure there are other businesses who could be earning more, but that is not where my passion is. I love farming. I love what I do, so I'm pretty confident that my business will be successful because it's where my heart is. And that's it. Thank you.